I wanted to give you an update on what happened on August 4th as far as the data center ban bill, and I want to tell you what's next. So what happened at the meeting, and I'll very quickly summarize what happened, was I motioned to ban data centers in just the 162 water basin, which is basically Pahrump and a little bit outside of Pahrump, in order to try to get the votes, to attract the votes to get a ban in place here in Pahrump. That failed because there was nobody there to second the motion, so everyone said no to that. I was the only one who wanted to do that. But what did happen was Commissioner Jabour said, let the people decide. He wants to see a vote on this. Now, that means a special election. What is a special election? That is when we have an election at a time that we don't normally have a planned election. Everyone knows that November, on even years, you're going to have some kind of election for president or for governor or for Congress, and you sometimes have primaries in June. Well, this would be different. This would be a special election. And what that means is that it's likely, I think the earliest time it was communicated to me was January of 2027. So in whatever, August, September, October, November, 4 months or so, 5 months or so. So that is the approximate date of when a special election might be held. And on that ballot, there'll be one question, and that is, should we ban data centers? And what would likely happen is the bill that we voted on, or decided not to vote on, that would be the question for you, the voter, to go down there and say, yes, I want to ban data centers, or no, I don't want to pass this bill that would ban data centers. Commissioner Jabour suggested let the people decide. I'm not against that. My only concern, is that while we're waiting for an election, that 800,000 square feet of data centers is constructed or planned. Because once it's planned, there's nothing we can do about it. And so I think it would be negotiating in bad faith for us as a government to tell you, the resident, well, we're going to let the people decide, but while you're deciding, we're going to let data centers come and build data centers. That's not what I call good faith. So I'm really hoping that at the meeting in 2 weeks, we can clear up that problem. That's the problem. The problem is, if we're going to let people vote on whether to ban data centers in January, and 5-0 commissioners said, okay, let's talk about how to do that. So if that happens, I don't think it's fair or right to allow 12 buildings or whatever it is, giant data centers, to go up while people are contemplating or going to vote on whether or not to ban data centers. So if we truly want the people to decide, just like they do in the courts, while we're waiting for a decision, we should be freezing everything. Now, this moratorium, I know people, and moratorium means temporary ban. And I said at the meeting, this moratorium is neither temporary nor a ban. It's not temporary because there's no end date, and it's not a ban because it's not preventing these data centers from moving forward. And that's true. It's not. And that's the problem. The moratorium, from what it's being told to us, it just stops any new data centers from coming through. So these giant data centers, the 800,000 square feet of data centers, they're already going through the process. They want a rezoning for accommodating them. They want to have agreements signed with the government, the county government, and them. So if we're going to let the people decide, like we say, and we're going to let an election decide the matter, I don't think we can be allowing data centers to move forward while we wait to hear what you, as the people who vote, have to say. So on the 18th, it's very, very important we stress that. If we're going to put this up on an election ballot, we need to stop all data center activity from moving forward. So I don't know exactly how I will suggest that, but I will be making some kind of a motion on August 18th to temporarily, until there's an election, and we know the decision of that election, we know the outcome of that election, I think we need to ban data centers. And it's as simple as that. I don't know how else to do it. So that's your update. What's interesting about the 18th, and that's when the next meeting is, and this is on that next meeting, what's interesting about it is the exact same hearing is coming up on the 18th. So what that means is we could go into the 18th, August 18th, and we could vote. I could make a motion to ban data centers and adopt the bill. I could get a second, and we could get 3 people who vote to ban data centers right there on the spot. There's no special election. There's no need to go through the process. So please, if you haven't signed or you haven't had a friend sign the petition to ban data centers, let's keep signatures coming so we can show commissioners that, yeah, in fact, people don't want data centers. I know it sounds crazy, but commissioners seem to be still confused about whether or not you and your friends and neighbors want data centers in Pahrump. So if you don't want data centers in Pahrump, go to my website, sign the petition, and I will present that again in 2 weeks when a little less than 2 weeks, when we have that next commissioner meeting. So that's it. It's all about the 18th. We're going to have a discussion on whether or not we are going to adopt a ban on data centers in the 162 basin, adopt a ban on data centers in the 162 basin and beyond, or we're going to schedule an election to let people decide whether or not to ban data centers. So whether or not we ban data centers here in Pahrump is going to depend on what happens at the August 18th meeting. If at the August 18th meeting, commissioners do not pass a ban and do not pass a special election, then we're going to have as many data centers as there are people who want to put them here. That's my concern. So really could use your support on that petition. And also, please reach out to your commissioner. Let your commissioner know if you want to ban data centers. Let him know. Let him know that you want to ban data centers. It's not appropriate for Pahrump. And as I said in the meeting, I'm not anti-data center. I'm anti-data center in Pahrump. It's just not an appropriate place for it.